It's only January 2026, but I'm already struggling with my book buying ban. Of course, because I'm watching everybody's resolutions for this year and what they read last year. And it's very inspiring to add new books to my TBR, but instead I will try to stick to my promise to myself to first finish at least half of my TBR. So we'll come back to part 2, and I will start with my art books and then continue with poetry books and many random books I got in thrift stores. So I hope this will be an interesting watch for you. I really like Frida Kahlo's art, and I wanted to know more about her personal life and her paintings described better, like the meaning behind them, because of course as it's realism it's quite hard to understand. Like, of course there are certain symbols or so in the painting, but I wanted to read more in depth about what exactly she means by that, to be able to fully understand, or to understand a bit more. And this is a Taschen edition. It's a German publisher and looks really nice, so I'm looking forward to it. And next, by the same publisher, I bought a book about Egon Schiele's complete paintings. I saw his paintings in Vienna and I was just amazed because they look very beautiful. And then I wanted to learn more about his personal life, because he is a very interesting person in my opinion, as he was very eccentric and he thought of himself as a genius, which is true, but I thought it would be so interesting to know what exactly led to this kind of mindset, and just to learn more about his art, I guess. This book I bought in Paris when I was so impressed with Impressionism. I was like, wow, this is so beautiful, and I want to learn to paint like this, to use such beautiful colors. So I just wanted to have a book with very big pictures so I could actually look at the details. And it's very interesting because it also has some descriptions in English, I believe, and French or so. It's just very, very beautiful to have. And I think it has most Impressionist painters, which is also really nice. And it was €10, so that's also a plus. And this book I found at an Oxfam for €12, which I still can't believe I bought this beautiful book for just €12. It's so heavy. I'm actually struggling really hard to hold it, but it's so beautiful, and it's about symbolism, which is one of the best art movements in my opinion, and it just has so much history and context and just very beautiful paintings, and just I want to read this. I started reading it a bit here and there, but I want to read it completely because I think this will change my life. Of course I think so of many books, but this specifically I think will change the way I see art and the way I'm able to paint. So yeah, it's just amazing book. And that was my art book collection. Now I'll move on to this book that I found in a thrift store for just €1, I think. And it's just about New Zealand poets. I found it very interesting because I don't know much about New Zealand, and it will be very interesting to read about, to see how poems there differ, but also to see how they're the same to what I'm used to, because human feelings are universal, so that will be very interesting to see that too. And most poems are very modernist because of the time they're written in, and just the form is very interesting. And I think it belonged to a student or something because it has some annotations, which is very interesting to see, for example, here. So yeah, I'm just very happy that I was so lucky to find this beautiful book that is in such a good condition, so I can't wait to read this. This book is quite random. It's called Famous Depressives, so just 10 essays about famous depressed people, which I was oh, okay, I get that, so it might be interesting to read. And yeah, I don't know what to expect from this book. This book I found in one of those streets bookshelves or so I think it belonged to a sociology student or so. It's just a sociology essays and studies, so I thought that might be very interesting, especially as I live in Germany and it's very, very hard to find English books, so I thought I was very lucky to find this for free. So yeah, many interesting essays. This book I found on the same day in the same place with a Journal of Multicultural Discourses, and yeah, it's also very interesting. It's not something you find usually, so I just can't wait to read more random articles and just like learn about new perspectives. And these are, for example, some articles that it has, like the distribution of nationalist and racist discourse, or I can't read right now because it's very small, but I'm very excited for that. And then Beloved by Toni Morrison. This I actually bought myself for a full price. Yeah, that's very rare, but like, it was 10 euros, I think. And I don't know much about it, but I want to read it. This I bought in Vienna, and it has still like a very beautiful bookmark, and I can't wait to read this as well. I've already read the book by this author. I forgot the name. The sailor who fell from grace with the sea, and I found it very interesting, so this should also be nice. This I bought because of a quote I saw on Instagram Reels, so I was like, oh wow. I don't read much poetry, but I didn't used to read much poetry, but now I want to get into it and to stop being so biased and to start getting culturalized, so to say. Then I bought James Joyce Dubliners, a portrait of the artist as a young man, and something else. Ulysses, of course, Ulysses. Of course I have to read Ulysses. I'm studying literature and I haven't read Ulysses. I haven't read anything by this author, which is embarrassing and hard to admit. So I do have to read this. I hope this year, if I read this, that's everything I want to do this year. That's just a goal accomplished. So next, a treasury of poems, which encompasses so many poems and so many famous poets. I don't know so many poets actually, although I study literature, of course, but some names I do recognize, and I just wanted to read more and just to get into something I'm not usually comfortable with. So for example, we have Emily Bronte, we have T.S. Eliot I actually like, and D.H. Lawrence and so on, nice modernist authors, for example, T.S. Eliot and Lawrence. I don't remember whether I showed this in my last video or not, but it deserves to be shown again, as it's insanely good. So this man actually got me into poetry. Just before, I used to think poetry is just boring nature description and some pretentious feelings or so, but then I read The Wasteland and I was amazed. I was just in shock. I was like, wow, I don't know, poetry could be so beautiful and interesting. So I thought I will have to read more of this. And then James Joyce, A Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man, which I have already in another book, and Sigmund Freud, The Interpretation of Dreams. It's really big. I remember I read this, not the whole book of course, but half, I think 5 years ago. Then I forgot most things, so I have to reread. And the modern British novel. Yeah, for my studies, I think I should read this at some point in my life. This is my complete TBR. I don't expect to read everything this year, but I really do hope to read at least half. So last year I actually read only 12 books, but this year I hope maybe 20, maybe 24. That would be two books a month. That's doable. I hope if I will spend less time on reels and more time reading, it will be possible. So I hope you had fun watching this, and maybe you also want to read something from what I've mentioned. So yeah, have a nice, beautiful day, and see you next time.